So today I'd like to tell you a little about one of the most beloved saints in the church, St. Therese of Lisieux, often called the Little Flower. Therese was born in France in 1873 and loved Jesus deeply from a very young age. She felt called to become a Carmelite nun, but there was one problem. She was too young. Most teenagers might have accepted that answer and waited. Therese did not. She was so determined to enter Carmel that during a pilgrimage to Rome, she approached Pope Leo XIII himself and asked for permission. The Pope told her to obey her superiors and wait for their decision. But Therese wasn't ready to give up. She kept pleading her case and held on to the Pope's feet for so long that the guards finally had to carry her away. Can you just imagine that? The Pope. I love that story because it reminds me that saints aren't born perfect. Sometimes we picture them as people who'd never made mistakes, never got emotional, and always handled every situation flawlessly. Not Therese. She was sincere, she was passionate, she was determined, and she still had a lot to learn. Soon afterward, though, permission was granted, and she entered Carmel at just 15 years old. Once there, her life wasn't filled with dramatic adventures or public miracles. Most of her days looked very ordinary. She prayed, worked, lived in community, and tried to love God faithfully in the little things. Over time, she came to understand something beautiful. Holiness isn't about doing extraordinary things. It's about doing ordinary things with extraordinary love. She called this the little way. She learned to offer small sacrifices, show kindness when it was difficult, and trust completely in God's mercy. One of her most famous sayings was, "My vocation is love." And that's really the heart of her message. Not perfection, love. Not greatness, love. Not being the strongest, smartest, or holiest person in the room, just love. After her death at just 24 years old, her autobiography, Story of a Soul, still touches millions of lives. Today, she's a doctor of the church and one of the most beloved saints in the world. Her life reminds us that God works through imperfect people who trust Him, and that gives hope to all of us. Saint Therese of Lisieux, pray for us.